I expect in our marriage for there to be some time for me, some time for us to talk, some time for us to connect. I need that. I demand that I have some time together with you as my husband. Right? And that's a fair expectation to ask. And if she had clearly articulated and shared what she wanted, what she needed, there could have been a chance for the marriage to be changed, for there to be a breakthrough or a new beginning. And so we have all these choices. Now here's where the things get most interesting. So the first couple things I share with you is kind of about dealing with our anger, right? Your anger. Figure out why you're mad. Figure out what your choices are. If you choose to be angry, to express it clearly. But here's Jesus then flips this whole thing around upside down. We're all mad. We're all thinking about how we're angry, and Jesus says, "What about the people that are angry at you?" You notice that? He says, "Look, this will help you deal with your anger, but as a follower of Jesus, I'm called to help others who are angry at me." You think about this, like if I make you mad, right? If I really do something that hurts you, upsets you, is it right for me to sort of sit back and say, "Well, you go work that out. Good luck managing the anger." Right? Does that sound right? Or do I have some obligation to come to you and say, "You know what? I made you upset. What I did was wrong. You're angry with me at what I did, and so here I am, and I want to apologize. I want to try to make it right. I want to do whatever I can to kind of repair this, because I did it. It's not right for me to just leave it in your lap and let you go figure it out and say, "Hey, good luck. Pastor Dave was preaching on anger management. Go and check that out. See what he's got to say." That's no. So Jesus gives a couple of examples here. First example, which we could really relate to, he says, if you're sitting in worship, right, and it's time for the offering, and you got your offering all ready to give, and then you remember, or it comes to your mind somehow that you have angered someone. You did something that led to someone else being angry. They're rightfully angry at you because you let them down. You didn't do your part. Then you need to set down the offering and go and make things right. Go apologize. Go confess it. Go ask, "What can I do to make this thing right?" Right? Jesus said, go help Paul manage his anger. Don't just sit back and let Paul figure it out on his own. Go help him, because you caused it, right? The other part, then he gives another example, says, if you feel like your brother or your friend, he's taking you to court, you ever feel like you're on trial, right? People coming at you, they're like, "Well, you didn't do this, and you did that, and you should have done this, and you didn't do that," and you feel like, "Oh man, I'm under fire here. What do I need?" She's angry at me, and I'm hearing it, and what am I going to do? Well, the temptation is that I'm just going to throw some counter punches. "You're angry at me. Well, watch me get angry at you." Or, "How can you be mad at me? You shouldn't be mad at me. That makes me mad at you." And we just respond by being angry at the person who's angry at us. Right? Or deflect and say, "Well, you're angry about me not doing this. Well, I'm angry about what you did 10 years ago." And it's just, instead of just dealing with it, what Jesus said, if somebody comes to us and they're angry and they're upset with us and it's something that we did, then let's own it and say, "I'm sorry. I apologize. I shouldn't have said that. Shouldn't have done that. Can you forgive me? Can I do something to make this right?" And here's what you find. What this occurs to me is kind of a revelation. Anger management's it's hard, right? Would you agree? It's hard to manage your anger. I've got years worth of anger. I've got years worth. Going back before the beginning of time, I think. All kinds of people have made me mad. And some of it's crazy and some of it's right, but it's so hard to manage. But here's one thing, and you're the same way. But here's one thing that I think would make anger management easier for all of us, and that is this. If you make him angry, then go and help him work it out. You know what I'm saying? If you've done something that made somebody else angry and you were wrong, then don't leave them just sitting there trying to figure it out on their own. Let's go and be proactive and try to make things right. If everybody was owned up to if we would all own up to the times when we made someone else angry and try to go and help them work through it, the world would be a happier place. Wouldn't it? Am I talking crazy? I think we could just help. Well, we're going to wrap up with this. I think this all makes such clear sense. I realize it. Just 3 clear steps. Figure out why you're angry. Decide how you're going to respond to that. If you decide to be angry, express it clearly. And if you made someone else angry, go and help them work it out. All that sounds real easy. But I recognize that I'm a realist. Let me just say it that way. I'm a realist. And I've got some handouts here I want to pass out in here. Did I realize that probably all of us, we've got anger that goes back a long time. We got anger that's deep. We got anger that cut us to the core. I mean, we are hurt and we are wounded. I mean, the anger's, it's there. And sometimes there's so much there, I can't even put my hands on it. And some of it, it's subconscious too. I mean, it's stuff I can't even really figure it out. And then I got to try to decide which anger is appropriate and which should I let go of. And then I've got to try to factor in, well, what about your anger towards me? And what do I do with that? And it's all this, it's just this huge glob of anger, right? That I'm just sort of imagine yourself just kind of holding it in your hands. It's just all this anger is there. It's just there. We're going to pass out some Play-Doh. And you can just sort of hold this in your hands and just sort of imagine in my hands, I've got all the anger from my childhood, my anger from my work, my anger from my marriage, my anger with my kids, my anger from school, from friends. It's all right there. And I don't know what exactly to do with it. And it can seem like it's unmanageable. I was thinking about something else Jesus said. He said, "Come to me, all of you who are weary and carry heavy burdens, and I will give you rest." Remember that verse? You're heavy laden. I don't know what else can really wear you down more than a bunch of unresolved anger piled up on top of one thing after another, right? So we may be weary and heavy laden today from the weight of all this anger. And I want you to kind of hold that Play-Doh in your hand. I want you to sort of try to be honest with God and say, here's my anger. Here it is. This is it. This is what it may be one thing. Maybe it's 100 things. But here's where I'm going with this. Is I can't manage it on my own, and neither can you. If you try to manage all this anger on your own, you'll continue to suffer and hurt and feel overwhelmed by it, unable to make sense of it. It's just too much. But if I hand it over to Jesus and I say to him, will you help me? I can't deal with this. I can't handle this anymore. I can't carry this any longer. It is killing me. Will you take this from me? Will you take it? And if I don't need to have it, if I need to let it go, will you let me release it to you today? If it's something I need to work through, then let me hold on to it and figure out the right way to move forward. Give me your Spirit to guide me. Give me your courage to help me face it. So it's all there. And so what we want to do in what I want to invite you to do in this next song is to be in prayer about your anger. And be real with God about it. And it may be more than you can do in this time. I'm not trying to overly simplify it. I mean, today it might just be a matter of, Jesus, I'm gonna begin to let you have this. I can't get it all worked out today, but I'm making the first move that I'm not going to keep trying to do this on my own. And so when the song's playing, I want to invite you, if you're ready to release the anger that's in your hands, let's start into a prayer. If you're going to release that anger, then you can bring it up and set it on the Lord's table. And just leave it there. Say, God, I'm leaving this with you. Jesus, I'm leaving this anger with you. Or if you need to hold on to it and you're like, just help me figure out how to deal with it, and you can do that and to press it in your hands and just imagine that Jesus is helping you kind of shape it and figure out the way to move forward. But you let it kind of be what you need. Let's pray.